Welcome to episode 2 of Project Dirty Willy. Today we have a whole bunch of lights to put on. Some are going back on, like these center 4 were the old ones that were mounted on this bracket here and on the other side. If you watched the update video, I took them off to clear coat them because they were faded compared to the new ones, which these are the new ones. And if you notice a difference, the new ones are flood beam and the old ones are spot, which 2 of these new ones are going to go on the front. If you notice, we used to have, they were both spotlights on both sides. So there was 4 spotlights facing, 2 spotlights facing forward, and then these ones, were angled out, or Sasquatch lights, as we call them. Well, that worked out pretty well, but it left, kind of a dead spot. Like when you were looking dead ahead, you had, a spot, and then you had a spot on the other side that filled in pretty much the road, and then the ones that were angled out, the Sasquatch lights, they have made a big spot like out in the ditch and into the field and stuff, but there was a little bit of a void between the 2, and a little bit of an empty space. So that's why we're going to use the flood beam for the new Sasquatch lights, so it'll fill in, that whole section. We haven't got the new lights in for the front yet, even though I was able to manage to repair these ones. I mean, it's not the prettiest repair, but we actually use our Jeep. It's not a mall crawler. We actually take it on trails and stuff, so I'm not going to put those on there with them being epoxied and taking the chance of them breaking. So we've already got new lights ordered. I'm not going to say what they are, but they're not Hella, but they are another really good brand, and they are a really good set of lights. They were very expensive. But enough about that. I'm going to take a rag and kind of wipe these brackets off while I have the chance, and get in back in here, get that cleaned up, get the lights mounted, and then I'll start doing the wiring harness. I'm not sure how much of the wiring I'm going to show you because, wiring is pretty boring. But I'll set you up so we can at least get something out of the video. I have taken the cowl panel off here, which normally we don't do. Normally we just take out the 2 bolts on each side and kind of lift it up and run the wiring in and run it across under the hood. But I figured this time I wanted to see, what exactly was under this cowl panel, and possibly run the wiring underneath here. I guess I did it again. I got carried away and just was in the zone, I guess, and forgot to stop and record everything. Actually got the wiring ran. It's all put back together. Wiring goes down under cowl panel, runs all the way across over to the switch box. They all plug into their corresponding slots. I don't know if you can see. There you go. That's the wiring that I ran through there. Come inside. And I turn on Sasquatch ones. Of course, I've got it set on strobe right now. I haven't reset it yet. And if I turn on windshield lights, they're on strobe too. I haven't reset them yet either. But that part's done. Sorry, I forgot to record any of it. But I guess I'll give you a shot of what it looks like from the outside. Got those on. Sorry, I just completely forgot I was making a video. Something else I did the other day, I pulled this gas door off and clear coated it because it was really faded. So now it's shiny again, along with the area around it. The rest of it needs washed, but that's why it's called Dirty Willy. The next thing we're going to do is on the rear. You notice I've got it turned around. Got two more lights. Going to put two lights on the rear for backup lights. Not hooked up to the factory backup lights. One's hooked up to a switch that we can turn on. We had a backup light on here originally, which actually is this light here. It was on there when this thing was rear-ended, and it actually survived. I mean, all it did was just get a couple scratches, and I mean, it just pushed it out of the way. The reason why we're not putting it back on is, well, I mean, it did pull the wiring out, but I rewired it, and it's all sealed up, but it used to be right in here while we put the hitch in there. Well, I kind of got them mounted in there. There's not really much adjustment to them, so I don't know. I basically have to wire them up and wait till it gets dark and turn them on, and hopefully that they're kind of naturally pointed in a decent direction, because there's not really any adjustment. As usual, I get carried away and forget to videotape some stuff. Yeah, something's missing. The bumper. If you watch a lot of my videos, you'll notice that this shelf down here, actually I may be giving away a secret here, normally has, you know, all of the parts that need to be installed. So we're running low on stuff that needs installed. Over here is a bunch of empty boxes. They've got a bunch of stuff already installed on here. Here is the front bumper. There's an air compressor, and that is a tiny little air tank. Then there's a bunch of air lines hanging down right there. Under here, let's see if everybody can see it. I don't know if you can see it or not. It is an air horn. And right there is a big air horn with the solenoid and everything. So yeah, I got carried away and started installing this. I'm actually just about done. So I'm going to finish it up, and then maybe I'll give you a little bit better look at things. I got the bumper back on. I don't think I've ever shown anybody this, but this brush guard, if I remove all the bolts except for these two here, it can actually hinge down, and I can still take the bumper and stuff off. Got the bumper secured back on. Gonna flip that back up and secure it. I've got a light under there, so I guess I can try to show you one of the horns a little bit better. Here's one. I don't know if you can get a sense of how big that thing actually is, but it's pretty big. It's got the solenoid and stuff and everything attached to it. And the air tank and everything's all tucked up in there. I know a lot of you are thinking, man, that thing's just going to get crushed. Well, yeah, it probably is. The plastic air dam is going to go over it and cover it so you can't see it. That's in no way going to protect it. It'll just hide it a little bit. But you are right, it probably is going to get smashed. That's the only place that I could find to fit that big horn. Hopefully it'll just smash the bell of it and won't actually break it off, and I'll just leave it on there all smashed up. Wiring and everything's done. It does work. It is very loud. I've got to do a little more securing with some tubing here, because this piece of tubing actually goes down to the compressor, to the air intake, and then it relocates the air intake up here. I've got these rear lights on there and hooked up. Hopefully later this evening we will drive this out, and I'm gonna aim all of the lights, and maybe you'll get to see how they look. But then again, with these small cameras that I use, they don't pick up light very well. But we'll definitely try out the horn. We'll go out by the lake to where it'll echo across the lake, so you can actually hear how loud this horn is. Because I've seen, I don't know how many videos of people with air horns, and I mean, through a camera you can't get any sense of how loud some of these actually are. And this is one of the louder ones that I've heard with that small of a tank. So I think the best way to do it is take it out somewhere where you can hear, you know, how far and how long it echoes, and that'll give you a sense of how loud it actually is. Alright, I pulled the Jeep outside so I could start it up and let it run, and I turned on the air compressor for the horns, and the tank pumped up, and I left it on, and I wanted to see, you know, if there was any leaks. And apparently there was some leaks, because the compressor kicked on at about every 6.5 minutes. So I took everything back apart. I should have done it before I put it all together, and sprayed everything down with some soapy water, and saw all kinds of leaks. So I had to pull all the fittings back out, and used just regular cheap Teflon tape from Home Depot instead of the Teflon tape that they gave me in the kit. I mean, the Teflon, it's the same thickness, the same width and everything. The stuff that came in the kit just, I don't know, it felt different. So I took all the fittings back out. I used the cheapest, it was like 48 cents for that Teflon tape that I had from Home Depot. Put all the fittings back in, sprayed them down. But let's see now if you can see it. The compressor was kicking on every 6 minutes before. And it's been 58 minutes now. So it's been almost an hour, and it hasn't kicked on, so I'm pretty sure I've got the leak situation pretty much taken care of. I don't know if you've gotten to see both backlights on here yet or not.